The following program is a UNC Charlotte production.
Welcome inside UNC Charlotte. What is big data? More and more people are saying it's Charlotte's future. UNC Charlotte recently hosted a conference that brought national leaders in informatics and analytics to Uptown. They shared their visions with the people in our regional economy who have their sights set on Charlotte staking its claim as a national center of big data. We'll hear what they're saying about it. Then it's back to campus. If you've been here lately, you can't help notice the growth. Chancellor Phil Dubois will describe some of the major projects and also their funding sources that enable expansion even during this challenging economy. The College of Education recently celebrated its 40th anniversary. To honor the milestone, the college is constructing the CATO Teaching Discovery Mural. We'll learn more about the project and the Looking Forward campaign. Plus another segment produced by our Communication Studies students. All this and more inside UNC Charlotte. Many sectors of our economy, including retail, financial services, and healthcare, keep track of us by gathering and analyzing data. Data that tell our own stories. Data that help others anticipate our wants and needs and enable those who would serve us to predict our next moves. The university convened Charlotte's first major conference on big data, Charlotte Informatics 2012. We took our Inside UNC Charlotte cameras to gather some of the current thinking on big data, along with where it's going and how Charlotte could become a leader in this expansive field.
Things are changing so quickly that you constantly have to change.
Belk and Lowe's are trying to predict what their most loyal customers will want to buy and making offers to them.
We're going to need a slew of new talent.
So think about those things that Charlotte can already do and figure out a way to magnify that around the globe.
Charlotte as a community has, is going to be one of the leaders in the informatics and analytics.
We are getting more data all the time. There's lots of opportunities, lots of companies that are providing us information, insight into our customers. And if we're not on top of that, we're going to be left behind.
The idea of using data to make decisions like financial services, healthcare, retail is another big industry, which we have a lot of large retailers here in the Charlotte region that just want to know how do we use this data, this customer data, to deepen our relationships and to sell more products that they want and they need. And banking's the same. They're dealing with customers, and so a lot of their operations are retail oriented, and they're doing the same thing. Healthcare wants to reduce cost and determine what the best tests are for patients, and so they're using data to make those kinds of decisions.
This period seems to be one where we've decided as a society, well, let's take advantage of all of that. Let's really use the data to understand our customers, to predict what they want, to make sure we have the right amount of every key resource in the supply chain and so on. Even to identify, what kinds of people work best in our organization and who's likely to stay around, and how do we intervene for the ones who are not likely to stay around.
They have the analytics and they have the next best offer, or they have the next thing available, but it's all through service. It's all through the service interaction. So if somebody were to, talk to you in a conversational way, mention to you, you're far less likely to say, whoa, how did you know? Than when you come into the store, your cell phone gets bombarded with, by the way, your wife's birthday is coming up, here's an offer, right? So it's the same offer, but the way it's presented, that's a huge deal. But then also we have to think about what it is that the customers have a tolerance for.
I think Charlotte business people are competitive. I think big data is going to be one of the determining factors of who are the winners and losers in the free market enterprise system in the coming years. We want our companies here in Charlotte to be the ones to succeed. We have an opportunity through the resources of UNC Charlotte, the technology that can be applied within the existing economy, those who we can attract here who want to take advantage of both of those things. We have an opportunity to be one of the big data centers in America and on the globe.
Because we are striving to build a new kind of enterprise, okay, to train new kinds of students, to build a new kind of academic programs, to build a far more deepened integration between different disciplines, from business to technology, and by combining university and industry together. So therefore, that new and growth-oriented universities like ours have far less baggage to get rid of than many of older, more established universities. I think we can do it, but it needs a drive, it needs a partnership, it needs leadership.
There are plenty of regulatory opportunities for people to say, and just value opportunities from our own perspective to say, we don't want you to share information even among affiliates. Some of our customers do that, most don't. We're pretty careful about how often we use that information, how we use that information.
40-year-old men who go to Home Depot are the most likely to end up in the ER because they don't go to the doctor, they don't. But that said, that also didn't come from any healthcare information, right? It came from purchasing patterns, and so what is the ethics? The ethics of using that data predictively to do things like that. That's where I think the challenge is.
You know, we worked with a hospital in Toronto in the neo-NICU unit. These are babies who could die. They could die tomorrow. And we took all the sensor data from all the, operating room or intensive care sensors, and we plugged them into a big data farm. And we predicted babies that were going to go into septic shock 24 to 36 hours before the doctors and the nurses did. You know, the funny part, there wasn't one of those parents that raised the ethical issue when it meant saving their sons' or their daughters' lives. So when you look at it for how big data can fundamentally change the world we live in, how big data can stop a bombing in Times Square, how it can save a life. Yes, are there some challenges we're going to have to face with ethics and things like that? Yes, there are. Will our lawmakers learn how to write the correct policies over time? Yes, they will. But right now, I'd rather solve, in situations like this, to solve people's lives, right? That's the thing I'd be worried about first. And that's the cool part of using data for its right and its good purpose.
As demand for UNC Charlotte education continues to grow, so does this remarkable campus. Despite the tough economy, various sources of funding make the expansion possible. Recently, we sat down with Chancellor Philip Dubois for insight into the projects that include the emerging football stadium and the new Energy Production Infrastructure Center, or EPIC.
The money for buildings comes from a variety of different places, and you can't necessarily interchange them. We talk about this as the color of money problem. All money is not green. And so for that reason, sometimes we appear to doing some things, and yet we're cutting our budget, and people wonder, well, why is that? And it's just because of the way in which money works within not just the University of North Carolina, but most public higher education institutions. Because it takes about 5 years from the time, for example, if the legislature appropriates money for a building like they did for Center City, like they did for the EPIC building, like they did for bioinformatics, it takes about 5 years to move to actually opening the doors. And so people will wonder, well, how can you be doing this? And it just takes a long time to do things. And during the same period, we could be suffering multiple millions of dollars of loss in our operating revenues, which is what, in fact, just happened. And then we have some things that aren't dependent really on the state, and that we have to do either way, and they don't come from state funds. And a good example is residence halls. We have a growing student body, but we also have an aging stock of some residence halls. And those are all paid from the rents that students pay, or the dining charges that students and others pay when they go into those dining facilities. So some things are going to go on no matter what's happening within the operating budget of the university that we get from the state. EPIC has been one of the most important buildings we've ever built. It was really maybe the first that we built consciously in partnership with industry. Now the dollars have come significantly from the state, $77 million to build the building, $5 million for faculty and technical staff. But industry has already stepped up with about $15 million worth of scholarships, professorships, and equipment, and we expect more of that to come. But as Charlotte has grown as the energy hub that it is becoming, we wanted to be a part of that, thought we needed to be a part of it, and so did industry. For the insiders, they know that this region has become so important to motorsports, particularly NASCAR. They know that motorsports is a $6 billion industry in this state, and unfortunately at the time we made the decision to build the addition, that's when NASCAR got hit with the recession as well. But I'm very optimistic that they'll be coming back. And of course, we don't just train people for NASCAR. We train them for the motorsports industry as it's defined across the country, including American-built automobiles. And so they get their degree in mechanical engineering with an emphasis or concentration in motorsports. No one from UNC Charlotte is limited just to the motorsports degree. They're really more broadly trained in mechanical engineering with that emphasis or concentration in the field. Certainly with football coming and it being placed right there in the middle of all that other activity, and with the thought that light rail is coming by 2016, 2017, I don't think there's any question that for many members of the public who don't come to UNC Charlotte day in and day out, that's the side of the campus they will see. Now I hope after the football game they'll wander over to the bookstore and spend a few dollars and those kinds of things. But yeah, that's going to be the case. Now football has been a real partnership funding. The students pay about half the cost of the construction through the student debt fee that they agreed to pay. And then the rest comes from ticket sales and 49er seat licenses and private gifts and the like. So it's going to be a real partnership to build that stadium and then run the football program with support from every hand we can get. Both of those kinds of things depend on user fees. We are not allowed to use state appropriations for parking decks. So the people who pay for the parking decks are the users who buy the permits or the daily permits. We don't even get to keep the fine money from enforcement. We keep a little bit by state law for administration. About 80% of the fine income, the money that people have to pay for violating the parking regulations, go to the public schools. So I try to tell people we're not making money by dishing out tickets. We're actually losing money on trying to enforce a parking system. But we needed to get a better parking system. We were using an awful lot of land on trying to accommodate all the cars that were coming with these new students, faculty, and staff. And unfortunately, those parking fees continue to go up at a time when our faculty and staff have not had raises for the last, well, now 4 years, going into our 5th year. So that's a tough one. The residence halls will get paid for by the students who live there. And our challenge is to make those quality of buildings built to state standards that will last, let's say, 40 or 50 years and yet still be competitive from a financial standpoint with what's being built around the neighborhood. Our applications for next year, for the fall of 2012, are up 16% at the freshman level. And they're especially up from out-of-state students. So we continue to see escalating numbers of students who want to come to the UNC Charlotte and who are more qualified than the class before them.
In honor of its 40th anniversary, UNC Charlotte's College of Education has commissioned the CATO Teaching Discovery Mural. Alumnus Bill Anderson recently spoke with Dean Mary Lynne Calhoun along with Emmy Burchette to learn more about the mural and the Looking Forward campaign.
Dean Calhoun, could you tell us a little bit about this very exciting mural that's going to be on the campus very soon?
I am delighted to tell you the story of the CATO Teaching Discovery Mural. We are celebrating the 40th anniversary of the College of Education at UNC Charlotte, and I love thinking about the number of educators who have been prepared for their careers at this university and have gone forward and touched the lives of hundreds of people. Over 6,000 of our alumni are now teaching in North Carolina public schools, for example. I also think that looking forward is really important. We're preparing great new educators now who come to this campus with the desire to make a difference in the lives of young people. So looking at our history, generations of great educators, and a future that's even brighter, this seems like a very wonderful time to honor that commitment, not only of UNC Charlotte alumni who are educators, but the profession itself. To capture this moment and to generate gifts that will help the college support these young people, we've created a wonderful project called the CATO Teaching Discovery Mural. It is being created thanks to a very generous gift from Mr. John Cato and the Cato Corporation. This mural is being erected on the grounds of the College of Education building at UNC Charlotte. And on the walls of the sculpture will be inscribed the names of great teachers that donors have honored. And the names of those great teachers will be there forever. And every new generation of future educators will walk by that mural every day and know that the transformational power of teachers goes on forever.
Well, there's nothing more important than great teachers, and UNC Charlotte has produced so many great teachers, and I think this is a wonderful way for us to honor their legacy and to give people an opportunity to say thanks in a meaningful way. We're very excited about this, and the plans look absolutely beautiful.
Let me turn to my colleague, Emmy Burchette, who has led our design team for this very special project.
The Looking Forward campaign that is celebrating the anniversary of the College of Education is really all about honor, celebrate, and grow for the College of Education. And as part of that, we wanted a centerpiece that would help again lift up teachers and the teaching profession. So the idea was to create a monument that would be adorned with carved murals. And these murals will provide information that is about the state of North Carolina, about the Charlotte region, and also about teaching and education in all its facets, all educators, not just teachers. We were very lucky as part of this project to have a wonderful team. We selected Morris Smith, who is a world-renowned sculptor who will be doing the carving of the murals. And she has a wonderful gift of taking conceptual ideas and bringing them to life in the sculpture. We also have Richard Petersheim and Dennis Walls, who, with Land Design, who helped us with the design of the monuments, the structures that will actually hold the murals. And Steve Ratzlaff, who is heading up our construction process with the Hurd Ratzlaff team, which is really essential to taking these designs and ideas and turning it into reality.
Donors who make a gift bill of $1,000 or more can name that special teacher in their life, and that name will be permanently inscribed on the mural. Because of the generous gift of John Cato and the Cato Corporation, the cost of designing and erecting the mural has been covered by that gift. So these gifts of $1,000 are building a future for the College of Education, the college's first unrestricted endowment that will enable the college to take the next big important ideas, the next needs of our students and faculty, and respond to them in effective ways.
So I guess the next step is how are we going to let everybody know about this wonderful opportunity?
Well, we have established a new web portal, lookingforward.uncc.edu, and that portal is set up specifically to help people understand about the anniversary of the college, the campaign Looking Forward, and there's a section where you can submit a story, and we will rotate some of these stories and share them with people, as well as information about the mural itself.
So it's very clear this is not just about teachers who graduated from UNC Charlotte, but any teacher, and that this is a very noble cause to recognize and value the profession of teaching.
This is honoring of the profession of teaching, right, the profession of educating, broadly writ. A person might identify that special teacher as one who happened to be a guidance counselor, right, or a school leader, or a coach. However we define that teacher, we're honoring the relationship, the transfer of knowledge, the gift of hope that those educators give. I would love to have the opportunity to share the conversation about the transformational power of teachers with groups in the community. And if there are groups that would like to participate in that conversation, I hope they'll contact me at the College of Education.
UNC Charlotte's Venture program started in 1974 and has been serving the most adventurous 49ers ever since. A team of communication studies students recently set out to tell the story of the program.
My name is Sandy Cohn. I'm the director of the Venture program at UNC Charlotte. So the Venture program started in 1970 with a grant that sent a group of faculty, staff, and students from UNCC to the new Outward Bound School, Northland Outward Bound School, that had started just a couple years earlier. They came back from that 3-week trip saying this was an amazing experience, we need to make this available to students on a regular basis. The Venture program has grown tremendously since its origins. I got here in 1984. When I got here, we were doing about 24 trips a year and about 24 challenge course programs a year, and that's about all we did. Now, we still do about 24 trips a year. Last year, we did 350 challenge course programs. We added a climbing wall that had another about 120 programs. And also, when I came, we were teaching one academic class, and now we teach 10. And we just proposed an academic minor, which will provide a whole new avenue that's new from what we used to do.
My name is Matthew Chewy Johnson, as people like to refer to me, and I've been with Venture for 3 years now.
My name is Anna Pisani, and I've been with the Venture program since November of 2008, so approximately 4 years.
The reasons I see people come out to the wall a lot of times is to have a good time, to experience a new adventure, or to just build community with fellow classmates.
During my freshman year, I had the opportunity to sign up for a rock climbing class, and Venture runs that particular class.
I've grown a lot just in learning about myself and learning how to interact in community, as well as other team building activities.
The whole idea of Venture is provide experiential learning in the outdoors. So we try to get people to get involved with our program. We try to get people to go through our course so that way they can find ways to push their own boundaries throughout our different activities that we have.
My name is Juan Acosta. I've been with Venture for a little over 5 years. I'm a senior. The main goal for people that come out to our high ropes course is to just have a very unique experience, whether it's a personal growth experience or a team building experience, by giving them an opportunity to be in a very unique atmosphere such as the high ropes course. Groups and teams, when they're out on the ropes course, it just gives them a very different experience than what they're used to. If they're a team and they're just used to being in a field or in a game, being out on the ropes course allows them to kind of challenge themselves a little more and kind of trust each other more. Participants, when they come out here, they have a very unique, they have a very established fear of heights sometimes, and then just a lack of trust in the gear. So they start on this ground level right here, this first level, which is around 4 feet off the ground, and it's not hard, it's not difficult. And then we move on to the second level and the third level. We are there to talk them through it. We are there to explain to them very rationally any fear that they might have. So we're not going to push people too much, but we are going to challenge you to push yourself to a limit.
I'm Vincent Selzler, and I've been involved with the Venture program for about 2 years. typically, the people that participate in the program are often international students, and we also run what's called the First Adventure Trip every semester, all for incoming freshmen, which is another group of people who tend to build together and participate a lot in the program as well. On trips, I would say we develop skills having to do, of course, with outdoor skills. You learn to kayak, maybe learn to rock climb, learn to backpack. That's a set of skills I would refer to as the hard skills. But then there's also a set of soft skills, learning with dealing with people and working together. I think it's unique in the sense that maybe on a team building course or something, you would do that, but it's in a very deliberate sense, like we're coming here just to team build, whereas when we're out in the woods, you know, we're all cooking dinner together, we're all working together to get things done, and so working together comes in like a natural way, or a more just a flow, a natural flow, it just comes along. The venture experience on campus and the venture experience off campus, they tend to differ because you really build a sense of community with the people that you have to sleep with and cook dinner with and be with for a longer period of time. And you're not just sort of cramming yourselves together just to be together, to work together. There's a real natural environment for you to build a sense of community and work together on the trips.
My name is Brian Capron, and I'm the Associate Director of the Venture Program. Different groups come to Venture with different kinds of needs. One of those needs is the amount of time that they can spend with us. The freshman seminar programs are either like an hour and 15 minutes long. And so we have created a program style that is able to provide a good mobile activity program within that hour and 15-minute time block. Typically, when a group comes out to our low ropes challenge course, we work with a matter of approximately 3 hours. And so we have a lot more flexibility with the kinds of programming that we offer. And the high ropes course experience with us takes somewhere in the neighborhood of 3.5 or 4 hours, depending on the size of the group. So time constraints are one of the things that can dictate the reasons that we choose the kind of programming that we do.
So the one thing I want students to take away from the venture program, I think, is a greater sense of themselves, about who they are, what they're capable of, and also more of a sense of ownership about the decisions they're making in their lives, more of a sense of responsibility about this is my life and I can shape it the way I want it to be, rather than just sort of going with the flow or sort of being pushed from one thing to another. Really taking control of one's life. And I see that happen a lot with our student leaders and also with the students in our academic classes. I think that's the biggest gift that we give to UNCC students.
Thanks for joining us once again. You can see more on the university website, and all of our segments are on YouTube. In the meantime, we'll look forward to seeing you next time right here inside UNC Charlotte.